against Omicron. Falcon hates puns and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie. Talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Hello, Falcon. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, and happy almost winter to you.
Almost not winter. Winter is nearly over.
Well, it's not quite winter today.
No, it's winter. It's the 31st of August, which means it's still technically winter.
Technically winter, but not peak winter.
No, it hasn't been peak winter in a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough then. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah, happy podcast day. Happy to be here. We do have some things to talk about for sure.
Do we?
We do. We have some StarCraft 2. We have some Warhammer book stuff.
Oh.
Yep.
So many things.
I don't know. So where do you want to go first with this?
Let's start with StarCraft, because I think that's probably more interesting of the two, I think.
Okay, so we've been a lot of the time, ever since Raynor announced he was playing in GSL Season 3, which doesn't feel that long ago now that I think about it.
It feels like it was about a week and a half ago, maybe 10 days.
Yeah.
A metric
week. I
week.
announced it, and then he played, and then it's been 2 weeks since then, and it's like, wow, that's fast.
It's actually not been a week since he played. But
has it not been a whole week yet?
No.
Okay.
But it feels like it has been a bit longer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway, point being, we were like, yes, Raynor's going to compete in GSL, and this will, put some fuel on the fire. The argument, if Foreigners, if GSL is the premier tournament of StarCraft 2, or if it's the ESL tour,
right? Show that foreigners can really stand against the Koreans definitively in GSL, right. Which is different format.
It in ESL,
right?
Right. And I remember the first time somebody gave me this argument. They were like, "Look, the reason that I think GSL means more is because in ESL you're playing an entire playoff bracket in the same day, and maybe even the group stages in the same day. Like you're just playing a ton of StarCraft. There is no prep time. You cannot possibly prepare for your opponent. You have to prepare for everyone that you could possibly come up against, and that's impossible. Whereas with GSL, you get that. You get some time to prepare for the people in your group, and then a lot of time to prepare for the people in the first bracket, and then a ton of time to prepare for the it's just way more preparation available, which means, the better player comes out on top. And I don't know if I agree with that entirely, but I get it. I get where those people are coming from. So I was hoping this Raynor thing would, I don't know, give us some definitive evidence either way.
Oh, well, it should definitely do that. Definitive evidence.
Yeah, I was really expecting him to at least make it to the playoff. That would have been hot.
I was expecting him to get out of Group Stage 1. I was expecting him to win a game. To win at least one match. Which he did not. He went 0-2.
Yeah, he won a map.
He won 2 maps, technically.
2 maps.
2 whole maps.
Yeah.
Wow.
So look, the ZVZ losses that he ran into, whatever. My opinion on ZVZ is well known at this point. It's a crapshoot. It's stupid. It's like the closest thing to build order loss that we have in StarCraft 2 is ZVZ. You can do one build, the other person does the other build. You are screwed most of the time.
I feel like that's true against players of equal skill.
Right.
I feel like Raynor should outclass DRG.
Oh, interesting.
I feel like that
Raynor is on just an entirely different level from DRG.
I think he should be.
Yeah.
His showing suggests otherwise. But
true, but again, it's ZVZ. It's hard for me because I don't know. These games are all like 3.5 minutes long. Like it's hard for me to be like, well, in this 3.5 minute game, the winner clearly outclassed the other one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sure.
Well, then it's kind of the same thing in his ZVTs that he played against Bunny, who again, good Korean Terran player, never really done a lot on the Premier Circuit, whether in GSL or ESL. Right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to look. Like,
quick.
he got a 3rd or 4th finish last season in GSL.
Yeah. So that's what he's capable of, right? Which is great. He's a great player, but he's never, never really come close, super close to winning any of these, which is cool. Like, he's better than 99.9999% of all other StarCraft players. So good for him.
He won the World Team League Summer 2022. Well, he didn't win it. He came 2nd, excuse me. But
he took 1st place in World Team League 2021 with Team Envy, taking down Dragon Phoenix Gaming. But again, it's team stuff. So
what you're saying is he's getting worse.
Yeah.
Like, he won it last year, 2nd this time.
But it's teams. He could have dropped every map, right? We wouldn't know. He got carried by everybody else, maybe, right?
I mean,
hang on, I'm gonna look this up. Team Envy. Look at the maps here. So in the let's just look at the final. So let's see.
Bunny won he won a game against. Yeah, he did.
What?
He's the top one. He went 1-1 against Rogue.
Okay, so he did take a game off of Rogue. Awesome.
Yes. Yep.
Let's see, it's TVZ. Legit.
Yep.
He also took a game off. Anyway, whatever. So he's good. So I don't know. Like, spoiler alert, but at the end of his little series against Bunny, he's lost 2 games and he's won 1.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking more results from the team.
From the team
game. He when he was versing Alpha X, he toured Ragnarok and Estrella, and then still took a map off Zound. So he nearly all killed them, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, not the toughest possible opponent, but
other GSL competitors, people who were in this GSL as well, that he may have had to have versed. I think it's relevant information that he can beat them.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's good. So he beats Raynor twice out of 3 times. And the 2 games that he wins are about 7 to 10 minutes. And the game that Raynor wins is like 15. And it's like, okay, so I really hate being this reductive in StarCraft because it's far more complicated than this. But man, it sure seems like the vast majority of Terran wins these days against elite Zerg players come if that first 7.5 minute push, whatever it is. The thing is, it's not consistent either. Sometimes it's Marine tanks and medevacs. Sometimes it's Marines and tanks. Sometimes it's Hellbats and Marines and medevacs. And sometimes there's Widow Mines mixed in there too. So like Terran just basically has to be ready for some kind of a pretty strong timing attack at around that point. And if the Terran can take a base off of the Zerg there, or if they can kill like all of their queens, then they win. And if they can't do enough damage to the Zerg, and they try and they try and they push, and the Zerg just rebuffs every attempt and doesn't lose too much, then the Zerg player's ahead. And then the Zerg player just takes the entire map. And sure, it might go on for another 10 or 15 minutes, but the Zerg player has the advantage at that point.
Right.
That feel
fair? Maybe. I feel like we would need a lot of data to really prove it, and I just can't recall a lot of games off the top of my head that disprove or prove it. Feels like a good thing to have a spreadsheet on.
Yeah, we need someone to crunch these numbers because I really feel like, and look, except for Maru, okay? Maru's the exception to this rule.
He's the
Maru
ally.
can win late game against Zergs, 100%. If he gets to the late game, if he does nothing to the Zerg for the first 10 minutes, I'm like, Maru's fine. He got this because he's Maru, right? Yeah, right. So every other Terran player in the world, if they're facing up against the 4, can't call them the 4 horsemen of Zerg. You can call them the 4 swarm hosts of Zerg.
4 swarm lords.
Giraffes.
Swarm lords.
The 4 swarm lords, yeah. The 4 swarm lords of Zerg. If they win, the average game time for those wins is between 7 and like 11 minutes.
I can see that.
Okay.
No.
It's weird, right? I don't know if I like it.
I mean, don't worry. I'm sure the intern's working on a balance patch to really solve these issues.
But I mean, that's the other thing is I mean, if Bunny can take down Raynor with a couple really well executed 7.5-minute pushes, then shoot, there's a lot of Terrans who can do that, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, it was funny. So it's Tasteless and not Artosis. Artosis is a replacement for that one week, and it was just funny because it makes me feel better about my casting when like casters better than me do this stuff. They're like, oh, I don't think Bunny's done enough here, and Bunny's like burning down 8 queens at a time, and the discrepancy is like 134 to 60 supply in favor of Bunny, and I'm like, are you?
I don't know if Bunny's done enough here. I think Raynor might be able to come back, and that's a GG from Raynor. Bunny's taking the game.
It was instant. They go from, oh no, it looks like Bunny hasn't done quite enough here. Too bad for him. To 13 seconds later, GG for Bunny. It's amazing. It's so great.
That's funny.
Anywho,
just curious.
I don't know. Disappointing for Raynor.
Were these games played in person? I mean, I assume you watched this.
I did, but I kind of skipped around to like where the game started.
Okay.
I really don't care about interviews with players or anything.
I'm just wondering if Raynor was tired, maybe he was jet lagged, or if it was a time zone thing or a ping thing, if he wasn't there in person for this. Ooh.
Well, let me pull up the VOD real fast here. It looks like they're in person. It really does, because it stupid ad. Yeah, at least they've got the same background, and it looks like they're on different cameras. Oh, hang on, they just zoomed out real quick. So this is Bunny, very happy because he won, and then he's drinking some brown liquid and a like
probably coffee.
Weird looking bottle. Oh yeah, no, Raynor's there. Okay, so that answers your question.
Okay, so it definitely wasn't ping or anything like that, but he might have been jet lagged.
He might have flown into Korea 2 hours before this.
Yeah. Sure. Look, I'm reaching for excuses, but I mean, all things need to be considered.
They do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's entirely possible that Raynor just decided not to take Bunny super seriously.
Maybe.
Because you really have to work hard to scout exactly what the Terran's coming at you with in that 7-minute attack, right? And to know exactly when to cut drones and start making the right stuff and micro it well. And one bad Widowmine connection can honestly be the difference in these attacks. So I don't know. It's the most dangerous time of a TVZ for sure for any Zerg. And if you're just not at the top of your game or taking it seriously and playing at the top of your ability, I think you can drop maps there.
Yeah, I definitely believe it.
That's all.
Yep. So I saw on Reddit today that Winter has had some balance change ideas. Have you seen these?
No.
All right, I'll go send you a link. Some of them are not.
Did we do this a couple months ago and it was just nonsensical?
Oh, yeah, but these ones aren't nonsensical. Like,
okay.
These seem to be, he's given it some thought. I think we did this a couple months ago, but it wasn't Winter. It was just like people being
it was everyone being like, oh, like someone started it. Some caster was like, well, here's my balance patch. And then one of them was like, Swarm hosts launch banelings now. And then everyone was like, oh. And they all did their own kind of silly patch. No,
I mean, I think that's a legitimately good idea. I mean, weirdly, I think that would be enough. Swarm hosts, like the little guys, have an incredibly high DPS, and banelings not very efficient against buildings. But anyway, what do you think of these?
There's a lot. Let's see. We got Terran, Protoss, and Zerg.
Yeah. When do you want to start?
I guess we start with Protoss, left side.
Yep, left to right. All right.
Main goals are allow more stability with non-Stargate unit openers and compositions. Okay, don't force Protoss to open Stargate in every BBT. Reduce reliance incentive to focus on splash and or burst damage. Risks leaving Protoss with less late game strength against top tier Terrans and Zergs. Interesting. I mean, I get as a Protoss player, you feel shoehorned into opening Stargate and then getting splash damage against Terran and Zerg. If you don't have it, you die. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, fine. We'll see what the specifics are here. How about that?
Okay.
You want to do Observer buff?
Sure. The Observer buff / nerf. It can now be built from a Nexus as well as the Robo after building a Robo. So that means you could build it at the same time as, say, a Warp Prism or an Immortal, because you could build it from your Nexus. But it can't do its Surveillance Siege Up mode until you build the Robo Bay.
Whatever. Like, how often is a Protoss like, this build relies on Siege Up mode for my observers?
Unlikely.
Yes.
But, it's one of those things. Less tools available, but you get them out faster or in a different composition than what you would before. If you wanted to make sure you had an Immortal or a Warp Prism or whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I just can't think of a game I've really ever seen where it's like, didn't have detection, didn't have the time to build detection. Observers build in like 10 seconds. It's not like I have to choose between an Immortal and an Observer here. Observer build time is not a ton.
It's not a lot. I'm not saying it's like a battle cruiser.
And if you're chroma boosting anyway, which you probably are, where's my build time? 21 seconds?
21 seconds. So imagine you get a Warp Prism across the map 21 seconds faster. That's huge.
Observer?
No, because you can build them separately now. Like, let's say you want an observer. You want an observer.
Building an observer, you got a Warp Prism out. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. 21 seconds of getting a Warp Prism across the map faster. Sure.
Yeah.
Truth. But I mean, do you need? I don't know. Do you need an observer for that?
Killing creep tumors. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But I just don't think that's necessarily related to needing a Warp Prism.
No, well, that's just the strength of the push, right? Like, you want the Warp Prism as a Protoss to reinforce, obviously. But you want them both because you want to be able to kill creep tumors. Normally, you can't leave until you have at least some detection. And if you've got an Oracle, you probably don't want to be revelating to kill creep tumors. It's not super efficient. You want to be tagging the army or just, like, lasering down drones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's go battery overcharge. Oh, good. Duration increase by 50%. Neat. Cooldown increase by 50%. Okay. So, like, this is kind of like the change to creep from a few years ago where it spreads faster, but it recedes faster.
Right.
So this is a longer duration, but you can't pop it as often.
It's hard to have an opinion on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll do nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it gives the Protoss more time to be like, okay, I popped overcharge. The enemy had to pull back. You got some more time to maybe warp in another round of units or get some units over there, I don't know that the pros care about this. Maybe good for lower leagues, though.
Maybe good for lower leagues, maybe worse, because, worse than pros for sure, because they just target down the overcharged shield battery, and then it's dead, and now it's on cooldown for even longer when it survived just as little amount of time,
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that changes a lot. I really don't.
Yeah, no, neither do I. Carrier nerf and mini buffs. So the supply is increased from 8 from 6. Build time increased at 86 seconds from 64. That seems like a lot.
It is a lot. They take a long time to build anyway.
That's true. Cost increased 400 and 250 from 350 to 250. And completes with 8 interceptors up from 4. So it is more expensive, but you get 4 additional interceptors.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
How much does an interceptor cost?
Like 10?
Like 10? Okay. So you're paying 50 more, but you're only getting 4 interceptors?
15 minerals.
Oh, okay. So it's actually a discount then. Because that would be 60, but you're only paying 50. But you gotta wait longer.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So this definitely just I don't know. I don't think interceptors are one of those things that you're like, oh no, my clutch carrier came out, but it didn't have enough interceptors to turn a battle, right?
Yeah.
So
one interceptor is going to be bad anyway.
Right. I feel like the biggest issue here is the nerfs, the build time, and the supply cost are just going to decentivize, like trying to push people away from Stargate openings, because then it's Stargate opening into carriers. It's what always happens.
Right,
because you've got the you got the the Stargates. You want the next tier of units, and it's easier to go into that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. As a Zerg, I'm happy to fight less carriers. So
for sure, making them cost more supply is nice. But I mean, yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, interceptor build times reduced to 7 seconds from 9. Threat priority reduced to 21. 20 is the default for most units, including carrier.
Right. The practical effect of threat change is units will prioritize the carrier over the interceptors most of the time they are in range.
Oh. Okay, so this is for noobs again.
Yeah.
If you can't handle target firing the carrier, this is a good change for you.
Right. except against corruptors. Corruptors will continue killing carriers. Hold on. Killing carriers over intercept range. Huh.
No,
but that's
not true. If you don't tell corruptors what to do, they will happily attack interceptors.
No. They've written EX here. It's like as a example. I read that as exception.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's an example. Yeah.
But it's not. It says corruptors will continue killing carriers over interceptors in range. That's not true.
True. That is not true.
Corruptors will happily attack interceptors when there's a carrier right next to them.
Yes, they will.
Everyone's stupid. So if you're saying this change makes it so that units by default attack the carrier instead of interceptors so that they can hit it, great. But again, doesn't change anything for the pro game.
No.
Neat. Stalkers get a buff.
Yeah, new upgrade of the Templar Archives, Polarity Charge. 150, 71 seconds, increases range by 1.5 to 7.5.
Intense.
That is intense. Yeah. They pretty much outrange a lot of things on the ground.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it definitely... Stalkers are one of those units that, like, as the game goes on, they're definitely worse. Like the Protoss Roach. You don't want them for a very long time. They're not great cost for money and what they do. This makes them better for sure because you can blink further away and still hit things.
Range is always good in an RTS for anything.
Right.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like Stalkers already have a late game usage. You can blink under Broodlords with them. They can be used to deal, like, blink on top of enemy disruptors. Like, I don't know. Stalkers being used. What other late game scenarios have I seen them used in? You need them against Liberators. So, I mean.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't agree with this whole idea that Stalkers aren't really all that useful in the late game. They're way more useful than Roaches are. Like, hits 10 minutes and Roaches are like, all right, we're just going to sacrifice ourselves now because we're horrible.
No. I don't mean that they're exactly like Roaches, because Roaches are horrible at past a certain point. But, like, you don't, like, Stalkers aren't usually, like, the bulk of your army. Like, you want Archons and Charge Lots usually. Like, those are the meat. You don't try to pad out your entire army with Stalkers. The Stalkers have utility. You definitely want them around, right? But they're not the thing that's going to win you the game normally.
Not normally.
No.
That's true. But I can just imagine every Protoss player being like, oh, yeah, if you do this, my Blink Stalker timings against Terran are going to be... Like, imagine Blink Stalker timings where they have an extra 1.5 range. That's so good. That outranges bunkers at that point, doesn't it?
That's an excellent question. What is the range of a bunker?
I think it's pretty even.
The thing that I'm more interested about is what is the range on a siege tank?
It doesn't outrange siege.
It doesn't outrange.
Like
no. It's 13. But my point is, can they hit the wall? Because the siege tank will be further back than the wall, obviously. Right? Can they, like, will this let them hit buildings and stuff, and then allow for like chargelets to just run on it. Stuff like that. But bunkers just provide +1, I believe, to whatever's in them. So you got to look at whatever the range for Marines are, or Ghosts, or Hellions, or whatever. Hellbats.
Wow. So Marine range is 5.
So 6.
Yeah.
So no, they don't outrange bunkers.
They won't with this upgrade?
No. Because it'll be 7.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good then.
7.5. Still doesn't. Wait, no. What'd you say Marines were?
5 base.
6. Oh no, they will then, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They will outrange bunkers.
This is bad. This is not okay. This will turn every PvT into Stalker Rush. Polarity charge Stalker Rush.
Right.
You don't even need Blink if you can outrange bunkers with them.
True.
Insane.
They will also outrange cannons.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. No, this is bad. Bad change. Next, Warp Prism buff and nerf. Mineral cost reduced to 150 from 275, but they're so good they should be expensive. No longer has access to warp. Oh, warp conduit by. Okay, all right. So they can't do fast warps. You get slow warps.
But there is an
or
upgrade
you can
for them.
research it. Matrix Reloaded for 100, 100, a 60-second upgrade. You can get warp conduit back.
Yeah.
Fine. That seems
fine.
Fair.
Yeah. Some gas to make them have fast warp pins. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and it's not like making it cheaper means, the Protoss is going to make 4 warp prisms now. So that's not usually how they do that.
No. It might just mean it comes out a little bit earlier, because I'll have the money for it faster.
Right.
Which, fine.
All right.
Fine. Over to Terran now?
Well, what is this 7?
Not just Protoss. It just summarizes what we're about to read in the other columns.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
I feel like these 3 images are meant to be distributed individually.
Okay. Like each of the dead subreddits for each race?
Yeah. So, the main goals for Terran: reduce the reliance on ghosts, diversify options by spreading power to less all or nothing units like mines or libs. Risk leaves Terran with no good options and overbuffing early mid-game.
Oh, heaven forbid we overbuff the early and mid-game for Terran.
Yeah, they might win games in the first 6 minutes against Zerg. So ghosts are getting nerfed. Supply costs increase from 3 from 2. Successful snipes will now break cloak. They also alternative options gain the light attribute. Using abilities puts basic attack on cooldowns. EMP effects reduce further from center. Example, tank splash.
Yeah.
But I mean, the EMP effect one I'm not a terrible unfan of. It's not quite a way to phrase that. Unfan of. Yeah, unfan is not a word. No. I have no problem with something being a radial effect, basically.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Ghosts costing more, I'm fine with. Snipe breaking cloak is interesting. Because if it breaks it, can you queue commands to then cloak again? Like, what's the cooldown on that?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because I know you can shift tab to like move, cloak, and then snipe, or drop a nuke. So I don't know. It just adds a little bit of busy work for pros, really.
Yeah. Why is there show cooldown? Dang it. Cooldown.
What are you looking for?
Trying to find the cooldown on cloak. I don't think there is one.
I don't think there is one. That's the thing.
Oh. So okay. So the pros are like, whatever. I can tack in a cloak queued command there, no problem.
Right.
Yeah. Whatever. Fine. Doesn't really change much, I don't think.
It does. It costs 50 energy to activate, though.
Oh.
So you're throwing away like a second snipe just to have him cloak.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, hold on. That's snipe. Snipe costs 50. Cloak costs 25.
25, sure, but still a pretty big chunk.
Yeah.
Of the overall energy pool. Yeah, that's okay.
Hmm.
All right, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I haven't felt like Snipe has been. I don't know. I feel like Snipe is really good. Let's say that. Snipe is a really good spell. But I've never been like, oh, it's extra good because they're still cloaked. It's usually like they get a successful snipe and they run. Like they're in the composition, they come up to the front lines for half a second, they snipe an Ultra or they snipe like a High Templar, and then they bail. Like they're not standing there cloaked being like, let's do it again. That's not how the pros use them.
Right.
That's all. So I don't know.
Fair.
Raven, quality of life buff and a change. Gains the light autonomous superficial energy ray or laser attack. Ooh, we're giving it a basic attack? Oh, it's basically the Templar. Oh, okay. So this is prevents people from moving their ravens into the enemy. Lobby upgrade again.
Right. They do note that it runs the risk that you could just have the Raven to clear creep now.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's
How
still...
many attacks from a High Templar does it take to kill a creep tumor?
Good question. I have no idea. How much health does a creep tumor have?
Templar. High Templar's attack does 4 damage, right? Yeah, 4.
Creep tumors have 11 HP. Oh, that's sight. 50 HP. So 11.
So fine.
12, 13.
You want to send your Raven out there and attack a creep tumor 11 times? Go for it, man. I'll allow it.
Well, what's the attack speed? They haven't suggested an attack speed. If it's, 10 times a second.
High Templar-esque, then it's an attack every 1.25 seconds.
Right. So it would take 50 seconds to get through a creep tumor.
Yeah, that's irrelevant. This has nothing to do with tumors.
Right, but I mean, it could bring back the days of mass Raven, where you have 11 Ravens flying around one-shotting creep tumors. And then drop it, like the army approaches, tries to push them away, and it's just like, here's a bunch of auto turrets now.
I guess Ketrock's looking at this and going like,
I see no downsides.
Giving Ravens a basic attack.
Hey.
He'd try it. If this happened, Ketrock would be like, all right, let's go. And he'd try this for like 4 months, trying to make it work.
It's true. That's what he does. Liberators.
He's given up.
Oh, has he?
For the last year, it's been Planetary Fortress rushes with Cyclones on the follow-up.
Oh, fair enough. And also good.
Yeah. I mean, the Mass Raven is, I think they've broken him. Anyway.
Liberator is getting nerfed, getting a 1-point supply increase from 3 to 4. Yeah. I mean, I think 4 is maybe a little heavy for Liberator. It doesn't feel like a 4 cost. Yeah, I don't know why. It just doesn't.
Right. I don't think I care about it.
No.
It's really a TVP change, because it's usually Terrans who are just spamming Liberators in that matchup. And I guess if the Zerg's going Ultras, then yeah, for sure. We'll see them there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Siege Tank gets a buff, which... Okay, so they build a little bit faster, 3 seconds faster. Is this an alternative idea? Build time reduced to 29 seconds from 32 after researching smart servos. Oh, okay. So either making them just build faster or locking that behind an upgrade.
Right. I mean, that would give someone a reason to build smart servos.
I do see that. We do see it, though.
Do we? When?
When Maru's doing his mechie thing against Zerg, he gets it.
Okay, so when Maru wants to lose, he gets smart servos.
He took Cyril down with that thing, man. He beat Raynor with it, too. Like, it's not...
Yeah, but anyone can beat Raynor. We've seen that now.
Raynor's a scrub. Good call.
Widowmine nerf. Can only fit 2 in a medevac instead of 4. So they want to nerf Widowmine drops.
This is a TVP thing.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't think it would stop Widowmine drops.
No, but it would nerf them.
Less utterly destructive when they work.
Well, I mean, not even then, because really, a big Widowmine hit in a mineral line is one Widowmine. Like 90% of all the damage, because even if they split away, 4 of them will only kill 1 each, usually, right? So that's 4, but when you get a big Widowmine hit, it's like the 9 of the 12, the entire mineral line, essentially. That's coming from 1 Widowmine. So you're less likely to get it because you have less Widowmines, but it still has the potential to do a lot of damage.
Right.
Yeah. Do you disagree?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I mean, what this also does too is you send 1 medevac with 4 Widowmines, drop 2 in the natural and 2 in the main. You can't do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now you just reactor out the medevacs and you send 2.
Right.
You send 2 and 2. Yeah. Because the medevacs usually get out of there fine anyway. Usually.
Mm-hmm. Usually. If they don't, it's catastrophic for the Terran. Like,
right.
Yeah, when they go for that Widowmine drop and the Protoss just perfectly snipes the Widowmines and gets the medevacs as they're fleeing, and you're just like, oh, okay. Wow.
That went poorly.
Terran's gonna lose. Yeah. Widowmine. Oh, this is you, right? Yeah.
No, I did the Widowmine. Yeah, we just did that.
Nope, sorry. What was I looking at? Viking.
Yeah.
Maybe just one of these two. Advanced Ballistics increases fighter mode range by 1.
Mm-hmm. Is fighter the flying mode or the landing mode? Okay.
They don't have 10-9 range when they're landed. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great. Imagine if they did. They would outrange stalkers.
Mass Viking would totally be a thing. Or potentially this upgrade, rapid reignition systems, which increases Viking airspeed to 4.13 from 385, which means they can catch or keep up with medevacs. That's interesting.
I'm actually fine with it. If they want to keep them with medevacs, that way the army stays together a little bit better. Parasitic bombs are more effective against both then, because they're not like outpacing each other. And
right,
yeah, yeah, fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the Terrans.
Yeah, and then finally the Zergizerg.
Yeah.
Main goals are reduce oppressive creep spread while opening up more mid to late game options, generally increasing usability of units without directly increasing strength. Give Zerg even more tools to snowball the game without creating any realistic late game options in an even match.
Yeah, okay, that's a goal you can have. Creep tomb enough. Reduce the site from 10 to 10 from 11. So the fact that creep tumors can see farther than they can spread creep is interesting.
Yeah.
Because they can only spread creep to 10.
This matters.
I don't think it super matters, but it brings them in line for, like, if you can see creep, that's where you know their vision is. Not like, oh, I can see creep, which means they can see slightly further than that. You know? It's a little strange.
Yeah. I'm okay with it. Let's roll.
Yeah. Number 2.
Infestor Viper quality of life. Gain slimy and slimier spore attacks, respectively. I mean...
They're the High Templar equivalent of attacks.
They get basic attacks.
Yep, so you don't aim them into... Yeah.
Hand-holding baby stuff.
I'm fine with it. I need all the hand-holding stuff I can get.
If the Protoss needs baby hand-holding, I guess everyone else does too. Fine.
Microbial Shroud now sticks to units.
Ooh, that's really good, actually.
That would be good.
That's a huge upgrade to Microbial Shroud.
I would be fine with it. Yeah.
Me too. Because like the way it works now, you cast Microbial Shroud and Protoss is like, ooh, and then they storm it or they send disruptor shots into it, and then the Zerg goes, ah, and then no more protection. Pretty much every time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
That's kind of fun. So like a Hydra that's got Microbial Shroud like runs over here and it's got a little tiny Microbial Shroud over it.
So I can get a little
rain cloud,
a little stink cloud coming off it.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, win. Let's take it.
Yep, I'll take it.
Number 4. Overlord speed. Cost reduced from 75 to 75.
Yeah.
On sale again.
Sure.
Sure. I've never cast a game where I'm like, oh man, Zerg really wants to get speed here, but they can't afford it.
You've never cast a game where, like, man, getting Overlord speed just 10 seconds later was clutch for the Terran because the Overlord came in a little bit later, and if it hadn't, it would have seen the Banshee move out or something. Like, that's never happened. That's never been your thought process for that event. No?
Nope. I can't think of that happening, no.
Okay. Number 5, Ultralisk Keto. So they're reducing the model hitbox and attack splash size by 15%, putting them on a diet.
Obviously, I'm down with the model shrink because ultras are so fat, they're so dumb.
Right,
get stuck behind things all the time.
Ghosts barely need to aim for their snipes. If you can pack 3 or 4 of them into a tighter space, they actually have to make sure to click on the one they want.
Marginally more difficult, yeah.
Yeah.
But the reduced splash on attack is like, I don't know that it's that overpowering as it is. I mean, I understand we're trying to balance it here, so we're taking away something that is pretty balanced in order to make something else different. But yeah, I don't know. My thing with ultras has always been, let's allow them to walk over zerglings.
Yeah,
like if ultras get stuck behind lings, I think that'd be a massive buff for them.
Yeah, I can definitely support that. Like, they let Colossus walk over units. Why not ultras?
Yeah, I'm not saying they should be able to walk over everything like Colossus do, but walking over zerglings, they're tiny boys. Like, they should be able, like, think of the Heart of the Swarm opening cinematic. The Ultra is not getting stuck behind zerglings in that cinematic. It'd be hilarious if he was, though. There's like this flood of lings, and then way in the back, there's this Ultra, like,
let me through. I think Ultra should be able to eat zerglings to heal. I think that's fair. Like, they just walk over them and suck them up.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so good. That would be, man, if you made the healing enough, that would be insanely overpowered.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, that's all I want.
If you made it heal like 1 HP per zergling, you might be okay.
Yeah, no. That no one would want that. That would be enough because you'd be paying 50 minerals for 1 HP.
Right.
That would be terrible. Nobody would want that.
Horrifically bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those are some supposed changes from winter.
Hit and miss.
Hit and miss.
I appreciate the effort.
Yeah. We will see precisely none of them implemented into the game.
Ever?
Probably, yeah. They've got one guy working on it.
I know. We thought they were done with any balance changes, and then they did one.
Did they? What was it? I don't remember. Because
they messed with the Void Rays. Remember, there was that one where they buffed the heck out of Void Rays, and we were like, oh no, it's the final balance patch, and some Protoss main, who is the StarCraft 2 intern, was like, I'm going to make Void Rays great. And then they reduced a bunch of it. Like a year later. Hold on.
So there was a patch in March.
March 8th. Yep. Void Rays build time was increased and it was made more expensive. Queens lost the ability to transfuse off creep.
Right.
Remember? All this stuff. We got a balance patch.
We got a balance. Well, technically, this is a PTR balance patch. They never put out patch notes for it to be into the actual main game.
They made it into the game, okay?
Look, wasn't this also the patch where the intern misspelt the word StarCraft in the patch? Okay, yeah. Look, I'm just saying I don't have high hopes for a lot of these changes. We could see some of them. I'm betting we will see none.
I'm betting we'll see one.
Which one?
What was the most like I mean, other than the babysitting upgrades, I'm
right.
not going to count those.
No, okay.
Microbial Shroud, maybe. That was the one where we were both like, yeah. I guess maybe Protoss and Terran are like, what? That's terrible. And like we're Zerg, so like we're biased, but I don't know. That was the one where I was like, if we get increased spell usage on the spell that never gets used, great.
Yeah. I mean, that would be nice. I don't think it'll happen. I would be surprised.
All right.
That's all.
Well, we'll keep an eye out on whoever the StarCraft 2 intern is right now.
It's like a Highlander position. Interns fight for the death over it, and there can be only one.
Yes, I really think that's what happens. Good call. Do you think when Microsoft finally officially takes control of Activision's Blizzard, StarCraft in particular, do you think they have any interest in maintaining it?
Maintaining? As in, like, keeping everything running the way it is now? Yeah, probably. Like, I don't see them shutting it down. Being like, oh, the costs for the servers are too much, you know?
Yeah.
For a game that, in theory, should be making almost no money at this point. People who have the cosmetics that they want to buy have them. The only cost... Like, nobody's really buying the game, I can imagine, anymore either, right? Like... the reason they did war chests was like, we make some skins or some like co-op commanders, you buy them, that goes into like funding the tournaments. That's gone, so maybe Microsoft buys it and goes, nobody's really buying anything for this game anymore because nothing was for sale, but they're seeing like all this money come out and going into tournaments.
That'd be good. I wouldn't say no.
No, that's what's happening. Like at the moment.
Oh, but if Microsoft came in,
in and sees that, goes, oh, maybe we do shut it down. Like,
but if they came in and they were like,
well, let's make more skins. They might do that.
Yeah, you definitely see that happening.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't be against it. We need a way to fund games. I'm fine with that. Skins aren't a bad thing in the game. I could definitely use some more co-op commanders or co-op maps. Dear God, I maxed all those out ages ago.
Could bring some more of that stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's StarCraft done.
Yeah. Let's hit some Warhammer in like the 5 minutes we have left here.
Warhammer, which is also very close to StarCraft.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm learning more and more how close it is to StarCraft as I learn more about Warhammer.
Good.
So we read Plague War.
Plague War, Book 2. Yes, I nearly finished it.
Yay.
I am... Mortarion... Spoilers for that, like, almost the end of the book. Mortarion has, like, Guilliman wrapped up in the battlefield, and he's, like, monologuing to him about how, no, I'm not a slave, you're a slave. Yeah. But I remember like the 3 chapters that come after that, so it's fine.
Okay, deal.
Yeah.
So I thought it was good. I honestly think that the author of the series has the most fun when he's describing how disgusting the plague people are. Like,
right.
He puts more effort into that than I think anything else in the entire book. It's amazing.
The two things
in a row now.
The 2 things I think this guy loves doing is describing the grossness of all of Nurgle's followers, and writing a somewhat likable, normal human person, and then having them murdered or killed in horrific ways. Right?
Oh my gosh! Yes, that one dude, that one like commander of some garrison, like
some space station or something, where it's like he was folded in half and still he lived. His tongue dried up and fell loose from his mouth, and his eyeballs sunk into his skull, and still he lived. Like, oh God!
Right, and then he's still alive when the demon like builds himself from his body parts, right?
Right, like he sits there eating him alive.
What the hell? I was like, okay, he's surely dead now, and the book's like, nope, he's not. And I'm like, what?
Nurgle has chained. Magic. Yeah, it is. Like they're not suggesting they did that to him and he just happened to survive.
Right.
Nurgle is absolutely keeping his soul trapped in that flesh.
Right.
Yeah.
Horrific stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, and this guy is a telekinetic, so he can walk into the battlefield and crush you from 50 feet away by looking at you.
Right, Typhus.
And I'm like, that's Typhus. Yeah, I'm like, Typhus is real scary.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho,
so this is the middle of a trilogy.
Yes.
Things that they have set up for the next book is basically Kugath is still making his plague on Ajax, but now he's got some blood of Gulliman. So
yes,
that's basically all that happens. Oh, and frickin' Matthew gets a stern talking down to from Gulliman for defying his orders.
And utterly and completely saving his life. 100%.
Did he though? Did he though?
Even Gilliman. Okay, so real quick, just run down. It's this big battle between the disgusting plague people and the
Imperium.
Imperium people.
Yep.
And all that the mystic bad guys have to do is get a drop of Gilliman's blood, and then they lock him down, and he can't move, and he's totally trapped.
Yes, but they have also explicitly told us the reader, not Gilliman, the hero-ish, that they don't want to kill him there. He is not going to die here. They might kill most of his armies and whatnot, but they want his blood for mystical reasons, but they want him to die on a different planet. They will not kill him here. So, saving his life is questionable when we know that he's not going to die.
Okay. But I would argue getting your legs chopped off, which Mortarion directly threatens to do, right?
Right.
Getting your legs and probably your arms chopped off too, just for good measure, and carting you away to a stronghold of Nurgle's forces. Basically dead. Like, real close to dead. Who's gonna come save you? You're the guy. Right?
Right. But they do, like, in the mustering on Palmio, Tetrarch Felix is like, we have the superior force. Like, we will win this fight. It might be bloody, it might be costly, but we will win. So he might be held captive, and they might be about to, like, chop his legs off. But, I mean, in theory, they have the army, like, right there protecting him. That sooner or later, they, like, okay, you lost your legs, we'll get you some fancy new cybernetics. It'll be all right.
Right. No. I'm with you. Even if they chop off his legs, if he doesn't get captured and sent back to hell, he's fine. Right? Whatever. We can get him new legs, like you said.
Yeah. He probably won't like them, given his disdain for some of the other robotics that he's seen about his ship now, which I always find interesting when he's like looking at something that's very common in the Imperium. In this case, it was the cyber cherubs, which are basically baby corpses stuffed with machinery and given like a jet and wings to fly around and deliver message.
Right. He's creepy stuff, man.
Creepy stuff, and he's just like, that's gross. I guess I'll put up with it.
He's not wrong. Yeah. So he would definitely be against becoming more of a cyborg than they want him to be. Probably
not thrilled about the idea, but he's a very practical person, so I think he'd put up with it. Yeah. Okay. So Kaylee, this saint, does save Gulliman.
Yeah. So bottom line, she pops up in a random village that's under attack by Nurgle's forces.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a well that's been poisoned by them and they can't use it. And she purifies that. She fixes the well. She purifies the well. And so the people are like, yay, it's a miracle. Which,
it's a miracle.
Fair, I guess. I don't see a reason to criticize you people.
She could be a psycho at this point. Like, she could just be a psycho and uncontrolled psychos are highly illegal in the Imperium, usually because psychos are like gateways for demons to come in and like possess them or just materialize into the real world. It's not a good time. Psychos are usually sanctioned or fed to the Emperor. So there is legitimate risk around just like letting her wander around or whatever, right? Like, they're not putting wards on her and sitting her next to Astartes and Obsidian Knights for no good reason.
Right.
But it seems that what we have is a legitimate saint. It seems.
Yeah. So Nurgle's forces are about to completely overrun this city.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're toast.
Mm-hmm.
And then she wanders in and is like, bloomp. Good guys win. Bad guys have to run away now. Right? That's what happens.
More, I mean, on a a fundamental level, yes, that is what happens, right? It is very much we captured the super weapon, now we win the war.
Yes.
Which there are a lot of Warhammer books like that. It's quite sad. But what was I going to say? So, if she's a real saint, that proves that the Emperor is a god. Because, like, she's a saint, right? Like, if you believe that she's a saint, that proves the Emperor is a god. Does it? I'm asking you the question.
Well, that's the question of the book, right?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. And Gilliman is insistent that the answer is no.
No.
That there's nothing that can prove the Emperor is a god because he knows the Emperor is not a god.
Right.
Right.
And that he himself is not a god, as some of them would also dismiss and question and
correct
say that he is. But here's the thing I don't get about religion, and much of Warhammer is a satire on things, so things not making sense is obviously what they're calling out. Gulliman commands that the girl stay there at like wherever with Devorus, another lovely human guy who seems like nice, kind heart and well-meaning and just doing his duty, and then he gets shot to pieces by his comrades. Because religion told them to, right?
Correct.
That is the you claim to be servants of the Emperor, but you're actively disobeying the Emperor's son's commands to be like, keep her here. Do not the Battle Sisters are like expressly forbidden from seeing this girl, and they're just like, nah, I was told to do it because I saw a vision or whatever. Specifically, Fredo Matthew told them to, but didn't order them. He just kind of let them believe that he was given visions from the Emperor that this is what they should do.
That's such a good... I love later when Gilliman's like, you ordered them to do this. And Matthew's like, no, I didn't. And he's like, dude, do not fuck with me. I know you did. It's a technicality, but you did. And Matthew keeps insisting that he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But he did in the spirit of the law.
Right. And I love Matthew's internal monologue there where he's just like, oh, the historical text said that Gulliman was a kind of a dull of a man. What is this range?
He's super pissed off. Wow.
He's just like, I thought I could get away with this.
Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that is
he's like, the fact that Gilliman is angry means I can convert him.
Mm.
He actually has emotions. I can use that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Are you listening at all? No, he is not. He's not listening at all.
No. And the poor Sister Superior ends up being burnt alive, if I recall. Gilliman's just like, burn her. And then, I don't remember what happens to Matthew. He's just like, you maintain your post, but I don't ever want to see you around here again. And if you ever disobey the spirit or the letter of my commands, I'll see you burnt as well.
Yeah.
It
gives him a second shot at it, which he's going to take because he leaves that meeting being like,
Well, that
will work.
That was a positive outcome, I think. My co-collaborators were burnt alive. I was yelled at by a man who I believed to be dull and passionless. Turns out isn't. That's a good thing.
Woohoo! He's still kind of floating on this high of believing that he saved Gilliman's life, right?
Right.
So that's a positive for him too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. So you said you don't understand religious people.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
That they're willing to do really bad things, ostensibly in opposition of the thing they're serving, but saying it's in the service of what they're serving.
Right, yeah, I don't understand the logic there that of like, my demigod or my god has told me not to do a thing, but my other god, his daddy, has told me to do a thing. He hasn't actually even told me. Somebody told me that he told me. Somebody told me that he told them that I should do a thing, and so now I've done it. Like, it's just such flimsy things to put like faith in. Like,
it is. So it's ideology,
right? No, like
belief in something, and you'll see this in political ideology as well.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody will totally do something horrific in the name of their political ideology because the ends justify the means, which is what was happening with Saint Girl and murdering our good-hearted human commander.
Divorce, yeah.
It was bad that he had to die, but the ends justified the means because we saved Gilliman, right?
Right. And it's like, to contrast that into political, not just religious, but political ideologies, Gulliman is not above just killing the girl either. He openly discusses it. He just says that he can't for political reasons because he needs he needs the ecclesiarchy. He needs the church. So it's not even like his actions are pure. No. He's all about murdering children, apparently, if it helps him, or if it secures his power base on a planet. Like, he just, like, if she's a risk, just kill her. Right? Like, yeah. Yeah. So I'm not surprised that ways of thinking can lead people to do bad things for the right reasons, or what they believe to be the right reasons. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Either way.
What's kind of interesting too is that this girl is getting eaten alive by this power. Like, I've always just kind of assumed, like, in the concept of, a saint, someone who's been given power, like that, as far as Christianity is concerned, that never really turns into
a problem for that person.
Their body was being utterly destroyed by the use of this power. Right.
Well, there is something that they kind of go over very briefly, which is that they have submitted her to tests and trials of the witch and all this.
Right.
And like they've bound her in hexagrammic wards and all these things. Those tests are extremely painful and destroying to her body and mind on their own. And so, while I do think she like slumps into comatosity after she like cleansed the well and the second time against the demon engines. Yeah, like I think it does definitely do some harm to her, but they have not helped by essentially torturing this poor girl.
Yeah, but I mean, her body's falling apart. Like, it's visual stuff too, right?
Right.
Like, skin's flaking off and like her hair's falling out. It's like radiation poisoning.
Yeah. The trying to flow the Emperor's power through a mortal girl does not work well, apparently.
Okay, so that's the logic, right?
Right, but at the same time,
of what's happening,
it's an interpretation. But they do mention another saint in this book, Saint Celestine, and Gulliman says that yes, her presence is a benefit to the Imperium. She is not burnt alive every time the Emperor comes to her.
Okay.
So it's possible that she is just a separate kind, like a different kind of saint, one who is empowered by the Emperor and her faith, but is not channeling the Emperor himself. That could be the difference here. That could be a difference. Technicalities. So nothing is ever. Two things are never the same in Warhammer. It's great.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
so I don't know. I mean, I do like the conceit of, especially the end of the book, is like Methuselah. She's obviously a saint. She saved your life. And Gilliman's like, there are several alternative options here.
Right.
This thing happened. It does not mean it's the Emperor's power. It could have been this. It could have been this. It could have been this. And I appreciated that because I was like, sure seems like the Emperor's power to me. But then he lays it out and he's like, no, man, that's not the only option here. And I'm like, Matthew, you lied to me. Yeah.
Wait, someone religious lied to you? I do like that earlier in the book when he's in the honorarium or whatever it is, where there's statues of all the fallen Space Marines on the.
Yeah, and he's writing his book.
He's writing his book. He's like, oh, I need to write history, but for the faithful. right? Fuck you, dude.
And constantly fighting against the, like, he knows he shouldn't talk himself up at all, but then, like, he does it anyway, and he's like, crap.
Right.
He's good. He's a fun character.
Yeah,
he's kind of nuts.
Yeah, I really enjoy him talking with the Logos Historia Avertia rogue trader lady who's going to make the Duckmata run or whatever it is. Who's
an assassin?
No, she's not an assassin.
Spy?
No. Well, she's like a archaeologist.
She's not a spy? I thought she was a spy.
She kind of like Gulliman sent her to go and like chat with him and see like what's he doing down there. So she's kind of spying.
Yeah, she's kind of a spy. Yeah,
she's kind of a spy, but the agency that she works for is basically historians. So historians. So she's a history teacher.
Yeah.
Anyway, in this book, is it at the very end? Because she gives him something when they meet, and she calls him like Robo, which is a very familiar level to be on with a demigod.
Right.
Did they cover what he gave her yet? What she gave him yet? I don't think. I think it's at the end of the next book.
Right. Gilliman just expresses a lot of reluctance to use the book.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's something that could be useful, but also be incredibly damaging. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't really say what it is.
Okay. Because they should definitely explain what it is. And if they didn't in this book, they will in the next one, and I'll talk about it then. I don't want to spoil what it is.
Fair. Yeah, that was interesting too.
Yeah. Things to be of note.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like that Morianton is a coward.
Mortarian.
Like he runs. Like the first time. Is this the first time they've met up since Gilliman basically died?
Yes, since before then, even probably. Because Fulgrim killed Gulliman the first time.
It was Fulgrim?
Fulgrim, yeah, the giant snake guy. Yeah.
Oh.
He's a different
different
guy.
All right, fine.
Different brother. Gotcha. Yeah, this is the first time they've met up, and had a powwow.
Yeah. I did like too that them destroying the clock affected the battle. That was nice because it was like, okay, this whole big thing that happens and all these Marines die. Well, okay, that actually had a positive impact on the battle at hand.
Right. So when they were killing like the clock with the pariah bomb, right? There was like a big explosion of warpery fuckery or whatever, right? And the Silent Sister is unaffected, and she's like, "It will be painful, but you, Felix or Justinian, I think it's Felix at this point, is like." It'll be painful, but you'll survive as well. And he's like, all right, fine, we'll make our stand here. And they're killing all the Death Guard. When that bomb goes off, the author describes that the Death Guard are now suddenly aware of their diseased nature and are screaming in horror of what they've become.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So it kind of implies that they're all just kind of slaves and they don't really know what's going on, right? Like they're all just entrapped by this thing.
Yeah, because we talked about that in the first book. We were like, do they really think everything's awesome? And this seems to imply they think that, but they are utterly brainwashed. So no, they do not.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, if they're all utterly brainwashed, is the same said for like Typhus and Mortarion? Like, are they also under the same level of control?
Yeah, can you knock them out of their brainwashed state? That'd be interesting.
Right. Could you do it without killing them or without what's left of their physical bodies dying?
Right. Good question.
Yeah.
Good question.
Aki's messaging me on Steam for some reason.
Oh.
What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing?
Well, we're over time. That's what it is.
Yeah, we are over time. It's true.
So just the last thing I want to say, I really enjoy in the Warhammer universe, if the bad guys come out with something new it's like, oh shit. Like every time. I'm like, oh, okay, so there's these towers. Is this a new thing? I don't know. And then the characters are all like, it's a new thing. And I was like, oh no, everyone's gonna die now.
There are moments where the book is told from, like the battle is told from someone who's a princept of a Titan, like a Reaver, and like he's melding with the machine, and the machine's taking him over. And then like, what is that? It's like some kind of a tower. It's Auspex scans are reading. It's made of wood.
Wood?
Wood?
When they did that, I was like, oh no. Just because it was foreign.
Right.
Yeah. And then it fires, one of the towers fires once and kills like 7,000 people. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Those are bad news bears.
Yeah, and melts Titans. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed the whole part of the book, of the part of that battle where you get it from the perspective of somebody kind of trying to pilot. What is the name?
Titan.
Yeah, it's a Titan, but it has a name.
Oh, God's Wrath.
Yeah, God's Wrath.
Yeah.
And like the whole concept of that the machine has its own spirit and that it's basically alive, and that you can tell it to do stuff, but it doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to.
Sometimes it does its own thing, and you're just along for the ride. And I was like, dang, okay. That's the first time this whole like machine I've heard
the term machine spirit.
The concept of machine spirit.
Yeah,
this is the first time it's really been explicitly shown to me, anyway, that this is what it really means.
That's because machine spirit means different things to different things.
Okay.
So in like god engines or Titans are considered to have their own personalities, but machine spirit can just mean like operating system as well, right? So the software basically. Justinian and Felix both refer to their battle plates machine spirit cogitators, which are basically like computers that are displaying maps or tracking data and stuff like that. That's also a machine spirit, but it's not necessarily a personality thing at that point. It's just how the technology operates. The guy in the first book at the hospital blessed the machine spirit of his laser gun, which is just a gun, right?
Yep. Nothing alive about it, really. No,
not really. And some machines actually just do have spirits that live in them that aren't a part of like what the machine does. It's just like, oh, it's just possessed. Okay, that's a machine spirit.
Gotcha. Okay, so it means different things.
It
can mean Titan.
It can. Well. Yes, it's very literal in that one. Yeah. Cool. So anyway.
All right. Well,
on to the next one. Yeah. Let's wrap it up.
On to the next book. Give it 2 weeks. 2 weeks to read it.
2 weeks. 2 weeks to read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But all right. Fantastic. So that's going to be it from us today. This has been Somicron and Falcon Paladin with another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. You can check us out on YouTube. You can see us on Twitch. You can support the podcast at patreon.com/Somicron and at falconpaladin.store for your merch needs.
Yep.
And so thanks for hanging out with us while we talk about super nerdy stuff. And until next time, as always, appreciate the support and you take care of yourself. Goodbye.
Bye.